What's up, guys? Welcome back to Machines Inc. I'm Jake, and today marks the start of absolutely gutting this Jeep XJ. So to start off, I want to put a cage in it, and that is going to be part of this little mini series coming along. But before I do that, there were some issues with the rust in the floor pans, and I wanted to go ahead and repair that, as some of the back portions of the cage are going to tie back down into the floor of the Jeep. So I knew that the front passenger and driver floorboards were absolutely rotten. Just went ahead and gutted the whole interior out of this thing, and they are a lot more rotten than I was thinking. Most of the floorboard's gone, so we're going to cut out all the crust. I've got a sheet of 16 gauge steel that we're going to cut and form to make new floor pans. And then after that, the plan was to jump on starting to build the cage for this Jeep. But the other thing I'm starting to look at is I still don't have a gas tank skid. My gas tank is actually smashed in from hitting it before, and I'm kind of debating either building a gas tank skid or raising the floor up where the gas tank is about 10 inches or so the gas tank sits flush with the bottom of the frame rails. Not only would that give me a lot more ground clearance, it would allow in the future, if I want to stretch the rear end of this thing and pull that rear axle back, it would give room for that. And honestly, raising the floor a few inches sounds, for some reason, a lot easier than making a gas tank skid plate. So I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments below. Do you guys want to see me cut the back of the floor out of this thing and raise the gas tank up so I have a flush back end? I'm kind of tempted to do it, but you guys let me know if you want to see that. But I definitely was thinking about that because the rear portion of the cage is going to come down and tie into the floor there as well. So if I'm going to do it, now's kind of the time. But yeah, we got all the interior yanked out as you guys saw in that intro. And now it's time to just start cutting out the rest of the crust and really just doing a bunch of dirty, nasty work until we can get all the rust out of here. And once that's done, we'll start building back with new floor panels and just putting sheet metal everywhere we need to. So it's going to be a long, crusty day. But yeah, let's go ahead and start cutting it out and see what we come up with. So I know this video was supposed to be about floor pans, however we have done everything but floor pans so far. So I'm just gonna take you guys around real quick, show you what I've done. It's been a few days and I've been busting ass on this thing. It's a lot of like dirty, nasty work, but we made some good progress and it's finally time to start making those floor pans. But I wanna run through and show you real quick what I did and why I did it before those floor pans first. All right, so coming in the car, we did go ahead and cut out all the floor pans. So if you guys are ever curious what the top of an XJ frame looks like, that is it. But yeah, so cut all the way around here. There's still a little bit of crust in this area, but honestly, it's not bad enough that I'm worried about cutting it out, and I'm just going to do some rust preventative stuff on there to try to seal it up. Then, I mean, the rest of the floor had a few small spots, so kind of clean that up just with a wire wheel. Same thing in the trunk area. And then the passenger side floor as well got all chopped out. So now that we're working with a semi-clean surface, it was time to go ahead and make the floor pans. But before we do that, I did want to go ahead and move the sliders up into the rockers. This is a super common modification where people will buy 2x6 steel, cut the rockers out, and weld that in replacement. I'm trying to keep this on a budget. I didn't want to go buy 2x6 steel, so I went ahead and cut out my rockers, and then I just welded in the sliders that I already had. Then from there, I did some outriggers that go down from the sliders to the frame. So we got those all set up and they're cut through the rockers as well. And the reason I wanted to go ahead and get this all set up is because one, these outriggers that go to the frame actually sit higher than the floor. So I'm going to have to make the floor pan around it. You can see back here, this is the stock floor and this is one of the outriggers going down. Now, the benefit of having that outrigger there is that's exactly where the cage is going to come down and land, so I can tie that directly into a sturdy point. And then up here, I just want to go ahead and make the floor pans that fit around here and not have to make the floor pans and then cut them back out to put these guys in later. And the other thing this is going to do for me is I slid this rock slider forward, and that's going to give me a mounting point for the A-pillar portion of the cage. So the tube's going to slide up behind the fender here and then up the A-pillar. So that'll be my main mounting point for the front, and then we have that outrigger to tie the cage in the back. So hopefully all that will come together. But this was definitely a lot of work to get to this point, and it is time to finally start making some floor pans. So let's get to it. So I've got my cardboard laid down on the floor exactly how I want it to be. These two studs here are the seat mounting bolts, so just press the cardboard through that, kind of holds it in place. And that power steering fluid jug is just weight to push the cardboard down flat. Now I'm going to go underneath the car and take a Sharpie and just trace the outline of the floor where I cut it out, and that'll give me my template. Alright guys, well we finally got these floor pans all done and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So forming these, first I just did a cardboard template, cut them out, traced that onto the metal sheet that I bought, it's just 16 gauge, and then essentially cut them a little bit bigger than I needed them to, began to form them, and then just slowly trim away more and more and more until they fit. Now to be clear, this is not a how to make floor pans video. If you guys are interested in some more like, proper metalwork techniques, definitely check out Willomet Motor Fab. He's got a bunch of great videos on there of like actually clean finishing metalwork. But like I said, for a wheeler, totally happy with them. They're going to keep water and fumes out of the cab, and that's really all I wanted. Now, welding these in, it's definitely a really tedious process. Like I said, we were doing stitch welding, so that's just doing a bunch of little tiny tacks, and you really have to do that because the metal on the floorboards on these is so thin. You just need to do the stitch welding so you don't burn through. So it takes forever to weld these up, but finally got them done. Now some of you guys might be asking why I didn't just buy pre-made floor pans for the XJ. First and foremost, budget. That big sheet of steel that I got, I still have like half of it left over, and that was only like 60 bucks. Floor pans for these are about $100 a side, so it was definitely just a lot less expensive to go that route, and gave me a little bit of practice of forming some metal and getting those set up in there. Also, you'll see down the center of the floor pans there are those little spot welds, and those are actually down directly to the frame, just so that way the floor, when you step on it, it's not flexible. I want it to be actually mounted down to the frame just like the original one was. So the floor pans aren't completely done yet. I still do need to weld the portion where the slider outriggers come down through the floor, and I need to go through and put seam sealer across all the welds. But before I do that, I still need to start adding the A-pillar portion for the roll cage onto the sliders. Then I'm going to drop them, finish weld everything, and then install them on the vehicle. But you guys will see that in next week's episode. For now, I need to get back to work, but if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to follow this journey of getting these sliders, floor pans, and roll cage all together, definitely subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I am @MachinesIncJake. As always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.